Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I am the Bass Negus, of course. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, wherever you are. I definitely appreciate you hanging out with me because you could be doing anything else, but you're spending some time with me. So, let's hop to it. So today we'll be just talking about some aspects of, I guess, what to look for even in a dream pedal board. And one of my things is I like a lot of versatility. So I use a lot of multi-effects and things like that that allow me to get to different sounds really easily. So, right now you were listening to the MXR layers. That was running into the ToneX 1 JHS color box V2 tone model, and into the Plethora X1 running the tricores, and then the HX1, and finally the Source Audio Atlas compressor, which is doing all the limiting and just a bit of saturation at the end there. So first off, you're starting off with just a beautiful tone in general. The MXR layers just add something there. So if I take the other stuff off. Oh, the Empress compressor is running there as well. That's literally all MXR layers and Empress compressor, then Atlas compressor. So that's literally the MXR layer doing a lot of that sound there. It's not. It's also got its own delay built into it. As well as its own modulations in there as well. And you can adjust things like the smear on it. So say if I wanted that. And that's literally just the MXR layer. So I look for pedals and things like that that have a good amount of versatility. So what I've done with my own personal setup, this pretty much is everything I would ever need to do any type of bass situation, whether it be solo, gigging with other people, even doing gigs as the auxiliary player, which I've done from bass, you know what I'm saying? Because I create so many different sounds. It's not just bass sounds. So, it's hard to duplicate that type of stuff or add that to your sounds without adding me. So, that gives me an opportunity as a bassist to do some different things other than just playing, bass lines, which I love doing as well. The core of me learning how to play bass is I love playing bass lines more than any other part in the band. So, but I also love to do other things. So the MXR Layers though is actually a multi-effects pedal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look for the multi-effects units that really um, like allow me to have versatility throughout the board. So things like the multi-stomps, if you notice, I have 3 multi-stomps here. Eventually, I'm gonna upgrade this original multi-stomp to the newer one. This is the original MS-50G, and these units kind of got me started on my way. Those and the Zoom B3 got me on my journey with the multi-effects units, and the multi-effects units have been they just evolve. You know what I'm saying? They just keep evolving compared to other pedals. When you get them, I'm still amazed they fit all that into here, and it's not like just a multi-effects pedal. But it's the MXR joint's this has chorus, tremolo, delay, freeze, and you got the multi-layer freeze too. So say I wanted to stack chords or something like that, it'll hold that one. Bring the sensitivity down a bit. That's beautiful. So, having pedals like that around the board, or the multi stomps, handling a wide variety of things, everything from just adding a bit of funk. I love this resonance filter on here. And that's on the original MS-50G, but that same filter is on the newer models as well. But I do like it on there because when I upgrade, I'll get the better sound quality that the newer models offer. I want to hear the resonance filter on here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to set it the same. And this is what I'm talking about with versatility. I have this filter here, and I also have it over here, and I don't have to switch the pedal position, And this doesn't always serve, the MS-70 CDR Plus doesn't always serve as a filter. Serves as various things for me. But, I like to, let me see what the filter, what the settings are. 360, and that's it. Just those, okay. Okay, so yeah, so now I'm gonna duplicate that on here. And what else I got in this chain over here? This the other thing you can. Well, I got this running through quite a few things. That's why that joint's so funky. Let me see. That's my bass by itself. There we go. Bring this volume down. And for the most part, I actually could duplicate that signal chain over here. That had the super chorus on there. So this would probably have one on here. Chorus 5. Want something to get me close at least. Let's bring in this chorus. And it also had a filter delay. So this is the versatility of having multi-effects around the pedal board. So, you know, I can literally take a sound from over there, move it to over here in a similar fashion without having to move any pedals. So I think that's like the number one goal for me when I'm using multi-effects units and things like that, is to have the versatility of them. You know, really have them like sprinkled throughout the board. If you know, as a matter of fact, I'm literally using 1, 2. You can consider these multi-effects units 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 multi-effects units all around the board for me, you know, and that ultimately allows me to just get to sounds very quickly, whether it be adding them or, you know, just copying them. So I'm going in here. This is another reason why I like the Zoom pedals, because they always have a nice, ooh, might have to keep that. So it lets you, that stereo imaging on there is crazy. With the people sleeping on Zoom. And the best thing is I can have a sound like that set up for here for more of a guitar type sound, and then have it set up here for more of a bass sound. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. Feel free to ask questions or all that good stuff. Let me know. Now, let me refresh this stuff. Yeah, see, I ain't even see all y'all in here. I appreciate y'all chiming in, hanging out with me. Of course, let me move this over here so I can see y'all chiming in. Matter of fact, I'm going to move my iPad over this way because my screen is actually this way. So this will just help me be able to see when you guys are chatting. I'm sorry. But yeah, good morning to everybody. By the way, if you haven't said good morning yet, good morning. I appreciate all y'all, again, hanging out with me. Means the world to me. Spend some time with a brother. But, all right. So, yeah, basic things like that can instantly make your pedal board way more useful. So I can go from having that there, and then with the Zoom ones, you have these line selectors. You just turns the whole chain off. Right, but then you come over here. I can turn on. Which is going to sound a little different than this one. Sorry about that. Sound a little. Oof. Sound a little different. So I just have them set up. You can have them set up totally, for different purposes using the same effects and not have to switch patches on this one or that one. But the other thing that'll really help you with the adding the multi-effects units is understanding MIDI. So hit that like button for me if you haven't already, and make sure you subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If you like this type of stuff, I do this at least once or twice a day. Usually I'm going live at some point. So, make sure you support so you keep this going. And check out the Patreon. But I also have MIDI down here where things like the MIDI captain. Let me see, make sure you guys can see this. Got the MIDI captain down here on the floor. This blue pedal. That's the CME H2 MIDI Pro, distributing MIDI throughout the board. And what this does is it allows me to have different effects ready to go. So, you can just be changing sounds. And so that allows me to access a bunch of different presets very quickly without having to try to, obviously just, a bunch of tap dancing. Nobody trying to do all the tap dancing and stuff, right? I'm trying to make sure I can. So I can go straight from loop when I'm looping and different things like that. I can go straight to the creative process versus trying to, do all this tweaking on stage. So the multi-effects units that I suggest checking out a wide variety of them. You don't have to get stuck nailed down to one brand. Yes, I do like the Zoom ones. Yes, the Zoom ones do have great quality, especially for the price, and they have a huge amount of effects. You know, something like the Plethora X1, the HX1, that's going to be something that's going to be like a little more specific. You're going to have to really choose where you put those, and of course it's more expensive to have 3 HX1s than, 3 multi-stomps. For real, for the price of 3 multi-stomps, it's one HX1, just about a little bit more. It's probably about $360 for 3 of the multi-stomps, Zoom multi-stomps, versus the HX1 is about $300. So, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you. Appreciate you chiming in, stopping by. Feel free, everybody put in there in the chat where they from. Everybody check in. Let's see what we got in the house. Yeah, I can check it out. Just send it to me. Send it to my DMs on like Instagram or something, and I can check it out there. I can't check it out on live. One, because they'll flag my video. You can't really just play other people's music during your live stream, and without them, taking part of your live stream. So. But I'm willing to check it out for sure. So the HX, like I said, the HX1 is a little pricier. That's $300. But I do love the reverbs in there, and the shimmer reverb in there, especially what you're listening to now, is amazing. Now you can get those similar results with this one as well. There we go. Really nice results with this one too. Look at that, gorgeous. Appreciate you chiming in from Buffalo. Appreciate you chiming in. And we haven't even gotten into like the specialty pedals and stuff yet, like things like the Reggiepaynebass Mel 9 Key 9. We'll talk about those in a minute, but because these are somewhat of, can be considered multi-effection, at least they can be used for a lot of different things. But we'll talk about those later. But effects pedals like these two are one effect, HX1, Plethora X1 are one effects at a time, so you really do have to think about what you want to use them mostly for. And for me, I love the delays and reverbs and the analog flanger in the HX1. So of course that's going to fit better. This joint's still going. That's insane. And that was the HX1, by the way, the Hall of Fame shimmer. But yeah, so you have to pay attention to where you're putting those versus something like the MS-70 CDR Plus can go anywhere. Literally can go anywhere towards the end of your chain, I would recommend it. You know, just especially if you're running stereo, mono, and run it before everything mono in there into it, and it'll make everything stereo and go from there. But I'm actually using the Enzo X for that, and you know, something like the Enzo X is a multi effects pedal. It is, yes, it's a synth pedal, but you can use those individual effects on their own. So all the modulations, all the delays, all the reverbs. It's only one delay, but it's a stereo delay, and you also get filters in there. You get 3 different filters. You know, so and you get an octavers in there. So you get a polyphonic octaver and a monophonic octaver as well. So you know that comes in handy, and drives. You got drives in there too. So you know, paying attention to that stuff, you know, where you're placing it and what the unit does fully is what's going to help you, you know, spend a little less money on stuff. And you know, because yes, the Enzo X is 600, but you got to look at it like this. The Enzo X is an entire synth keyboard for real. Like you're going to get keyboard quality sounds. Let me turn off everything else. Because y'all think it's a game about this jank right here. This is, yeah. All I did, that's an accident. Still fire. Try not to kill y'all ears with the so loud pedal. That reverb crazy. You know, you get plenty of giant reverb in there. It just little things like that. You know, you can use on your individual bass sound. So let me see. I got a few settings. So if I just wanted to use the octave up. There you go. Make a little adjustments here. Sorry. So you got options. Octave up. And so that's just using the noise, the little noise generator that's available in there being swept by the filter. So, you know, one of the best parts about having this many multi-effects units on one board is I have like almost unlimited amounts of types of reverbs here. I have pretty much every type of reverb I would ever need, every type of delay, every type of modulation, between one, two, three, four pedals, right? So instead of trying to carry a million different choruses or a million different delays and reverb pedals, I have one, two, three, four pedals. Four pedals that can handle, that each individually can handle those options, and gives me some of the best algorithms, and emulations available at the moment. No, it's not going to get you, for the most part. I can't even say it won't get you every sound that you would ever want. It'll pretty much get you every sound you ever want if you are creative enough to get to it or understand. Like, you see certain pedals, they'll make certain sounds, and it's a combination of effects that you're hearing. It's not really that it's just this is the ultimate reverb. It's like it's a reverb and a chorus and some other things. For instance, like particle reverbs or shimmer reverbs got octaves on them. It's a particle reverb. You can have that for different settings. So, part of the appeal for me of the multi-effects units in general is just you have so many options. For instance, like I have this MS-60B Plus here. If I want to simply just add a drive, I've got the option to. And of course, with them being multi-effects units that run with MIDI, I can easily just have this turn on and off and do everything from the MIDI captain. I don't have the MS-60B currently on MIDI, but I can, most of my board here, I can actually run with MIDI. The V256 vocoder, the MS-50G, MS-60B Plus, the Hog 2, the Enzo X, MS-70 CDR Plus, HX1, C4 synth, and even a ToneX 1 could be run on MIDI now. So, well, not ran on MIDI, but you can change presets with MIDI, which is super beneficial when you don't want to have to tap dance during the show. If I want to go from back to, it's not hard. It's done very quickly. You know what I'm saying? That's really convenient. And I guess it's, for me, it's the versatility, the convenience, knowing that every time I go and turn it off and throw it in my pedal board and take it out, it's going to be the same. And when I turn it off, no matter if the knobs are turning, none of my presets are being changed. Versus like something like the Empress compressor, which I absolutely love. Think it's, if you're talking about the best analog compressor that I've ever tried, and I absolutely love the way it sounds. But when I take it out the case, I always got to check that the knobs are the same, you know, because when these knobs are changed, the actual settings are changed. Same thing with the OC5, you know, even with the deep freeze, I got to check just in case, even though the deep freeze is a digital pedal, I still have to check, you know, and make sure that the settings are the same. But the rest of the board, other than these three pedals here, because this is my main gig portion of the board when I'm just playing bass or any gig, these three I always have to check as soon as I, you know, set up. Just look, glance, all right, make sure they good, all right, cool. You know, compared to the rest of the pedals, I just look at them and just make sure they're on a preset that I want them to be on. And I can't tell you how much of a convenience that is. That means with me, my pedal board, walking in the door, setting up, it literally takes me about as long as it takes me to plug in my bass to the three-way switcher. You know, if I'm going to plug in an amp, plug an amp into the canvas, plug in the 2 power plugs for this board, and run the XLR. How long you think that take? That probably take like 3 minutes, you know, so it's a convenience factor as well as a sound factor. So you gotta balance that quality with, you know, because otherwise I could just go with my Zoom B6, you know what I'm saying, and just not bring out all of this, you know. But it's a balance between convenience, versatility, and, you know, and just having access to all the sounds I want. You know, that sound quality is super important. It's your trademark. It's your it's part of your brand. You know, people expect me to sound the way I sound on my videos. You know, I know that doesn't work out for a lot of folks, but you know, people want you to sound how you sound when they, you know, became that fan of you. So, you know, you don't want to sacrifice the sound quality for just convenience or portability either. You know what I'm saying? So this is still portable. It's not as big as a 61 key keyboard or nothing like that. It's actually literally half the length of one. And then it's also still got all my bass synth stuff on here. If I want to run key bass, I can run key bass from the Future Impact V4 VIP or the Enzo X. And I never even have to switch up this rig. So no matter what, if I'm playing key bass, if I'm playing bass, this is the absolute rig for me in terms of versatility and you know, because of the multi-effects units. Like I said, the Future Impact is a multi-effects unit. It has chorus, delays. You can even simulate a reverb, but it's not like a real reverb in there. But you got flanger, phaser, you know, you got 4 oscillators in there. You got filters. You get 2 different filters. Well, really 3 different filters. Really more than that because you got the low pass and all that. So you got a few different styles of filters in there. And then you also have a full ADSR for your bass as well. So you can use your bass tone and shape it with an ADSR, which is what the synthesizers use. You know, so to give you, I don't think I have any examples of patches I've done because I don't typically do patches like that. But you can already hear this, just the fireness of the joint. On something. Oh, that's what it is. Click. Oh. it's just right there. You can just reach for it. It's and all these can be played with a keyboard, key bass, all that stuff. So it just makes it a very versatile pedal. It's it's just nasty, just ridiculous pedal. Make sure that's coming through good. Oh, a little loud there. I mean, you could just get some dirty, nasty sounds with the Future Impact. Along with, you can tons of different sounds. And mind you, if you don't feel like programming all these pedals, say you get any of these pedals, Future Impact, Enzo X, the MS-60B Plus, MS-70 CDR Plus, ToneX 1, 11 different preamp packs for that, C4 synth pack. Got packs for all these pedals on the Patreon. So you don't even have to try to figure out how to get to these sounds. All you got to do is get the pedal, buy my preset pack from the Patreon, and throw it onto the pedal, and you will have access to all these different types of sounds. And, it makes it even more convenient. That would be another point I would make. If I ever want to use sounds from other artists, say I like somebody's album, or I like something they did on their live or whatever, a lot of times content creators are having preset packs now for different pedals, like myself. I got them all any pedal up here that can have a preset pack pretty much does have one on my Patreon. And that means you have access to, it makes it really convenient. That's hours and hours you would save downloading preset packs versus trying to do it yourself, if you ever can do it yourself. A lot of people get so frustrated with the pedals, by the time they get to usable sounds they pretty much stopped. And the hard thing is you really can't stop. Like, you gotta, it took me hours hours to program these joints, like, for real. But you can't tell me that's not worth it. Just make it all worth it. It's trust and believe. You want to experiment with different sounds and different ways of getting to these different sounds on different units. It will definitely greatly improve your time with it, So you got the Future Impact, C4 synth is also multi-effects unit. You know what I'm saying? Just in this one board, you got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different multi-effects units. You know, that's insane, for most bass players. And the reason it is that way is so I have versatility. I don't want to have to keep buying more pedals. Like, if at some point you want to, I got other goals and dreams. Like, now I'm going to be buying pedals for the rest of my life probably. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. But, at some point, I like to have a good lineup here that I know is really solid. And this I couldn't really ask for more from a pedal board at the moment. There isn't really anything that I would need to add to get sounds that I'm looking for. Pretty much this is almost, this is a good, I'm not going to say final. It's never a final version of your pedal board, but I can say that this version of my pedal board definitely is the most versatile and highest quality sounding pedal board that I've ever put together. You know what I'm saying? Especially with, and one of the biggest things too, don't skimp out on the power supplies. Why you spend thousands of dollars on pedals and then get a $50 power supply? You know what I'm saying? Get you something good, MXR ISO brick. True Tone stuff is really good. So this entire board over here is powered by a CS12, True Tone CS12. This board is powered by a MXR ISO brick and a True Tone CS12. All right, so we got a question over here. What's your one pedal for a skilled, long-time bassist that's new to effects that wants shimmer reverb with freeze? Shimmer reverb with freeze. Like, are you saying that you want to be able to, like, do, like this? Let me see. Like that. And be able to do the shimmer effect, I believe. That's a good question because a lot of these pedals don't really do freeze too well. I believe the HX1 might have a freeze on it, but it's not gonna have the freeze and the shimmer reverb. It's gonna have both of them, but you can't use them both at the same time. So, something like HX1 with not an HX1, a HX Stomp might get you there. But I would just recommend personally, getting you something. I would say find the shimmer reverb effect that you want, and then get you a reverb pedal. A sustainer pedal. Now the Plethora X1 also has a infinite sustainer on there now, and it has shimmer reverb along with a bunch of other effects. Now, if you want the biggest, what I would recommend for you, if you're gonna use, now, how often are you gonna be using this shimmer reverb would be the real question. Because if you're only going to take one pedal, it's a bunch of other stuff that you're going to need more than a shimmer reverb. Like for MS-60B Plus is going to have a great reverb, delays, a good amount of modulations, and it's going to have a few filters, even a few bass amps in there, emulations, and some good preamps in there. So that's also an option. Now you can create a freeze effect with something like a MS-60B. Let me see. And my pack for this includes like these pads and stuff in it too. So it'll have like sound setup for bass. Make sure everything else off. Something on. Oh, that is the MS-60B. Oh, it also has bass synths. So you get everything from bass sounds. Bring this volume down on these. So, actually, you know what? I think I'll do a whole video on creating mini pedal boards like with multi stomps like this or exactly how to get similar things out of one unit like this. So this one, of course, like I said, has the amp models, and I already have MS-60B plus. I already got all the synths and all that set up in the pack. All this different bass sounds, solo sounds. All that's MS-60B plus by itself. So it's an impressive unit, and we ain't even get to the pads and stuff yet. And again, you don't have to try to set all this up. It's already in the pack. But besides that stuff, the regular bass tones that's in the pack, trying to get to the pads, or, getting to the pad stuff. Something like that. And the MS-60B Plus is stereo. You just have to run in stereo. It's running in mono right now. But yeah, you get a couple pads in there, but I try to include a lot more bass sounds with this pack. So you get a bunch of synth bass, like, octave up, different types of solo sounds, and, even the octave. Yeah, well, the infinite sustainer, mine doesn't. I haven't even experienced it as a wobbler. I actually had the actual pedal and did a comparison. I didn't experience. I got it as a preset on here. Let me see. I think some of what you're referring to, the warble, maybe from the modulations that are in there. There's an actual, when you go into the settings in the Tone Print app, there is actual modulation on that in that pedal as well. So you'd have to turn the modulation off to get rid of the warble. You know. Yeah. The MS-60B Plus definitely is very well capable of doing a lot more than people would realize. You have to, understand effects orders and things like that. That's why I say, if you get the preset pack, one thing the preset pack does for you as well, besides just give you my presets, it actually you'll be able to look at the effects orders and get them, and understand how things are set up, and then modify things to better suit you. Yeah, the and the plethora, the deep freeze is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love the deep freeze. I have the MXR layers, the the EHS deep freeze, and the infinite sustainer. So I definitely understand. Let me change this to latching. Oh, momentary latching. I just want the single layer, and let me change this to latching. So yeah, see, I know it's a bit of modulation on there compared to the deep freeze. See, now I can make the deep freeze smear a lot more, and you can do some great stuff with that with these freeze pedals. I like this single. That there. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Bring some of this smear off of there. And you can make this instant as well. So it really just depends on what you want to do with these types of pedals. But one of the main things that you'll need to focus on when you're building up your pedal boards and different things like that is, like I said, you want to focus on versatility, not necessarily going for every abstract sound, pedal by itself. That takes up pedal board room. And when you're trying to keep a rig really tight, those pedals end up getting left home a lot. Like even my filters, like all my analog filters are over here on the sideline right now. because they take up so much space. And I have filters here, I got filters here, I got filters here, filters here. This got like 23 filters in it, the C4 synth. This got a bunch of filters like Moog style filters, and other stuff, you know. It's it just becomes at a certain point. What's going on? Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate you chiming in. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. It definitely helps me out in the algorithm a lot. You know, you'd be surprised how much you guys hitting like. Definitely helps me out. You know, and hit the hype button if you already hit the like button. And subscribe. Come on now, hit that subscribe button. Them give me all this game for free. Come on now, getting you in there. See, they be keeping the effects on you guys. But yeah. So when you have that many variety of things, you know, filter wise, you know, the analog filters do have their charm, and like for a record, yes, it makes a difference. But nobody's gonna hear the difference live. Like they're not gonna be able to hear the difference live at all. You know, a filter's gonna sound funky regardless. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what I got on here. So, well, I showed you a couple filters on here already. Where that Moog style filter on here. And you also got similar things. Appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat, Chuck. That means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. That definitely helps out a lot. Feel free to send the super chats. They are useful. You know what I'm saying? And the cash apps, whatever. You know, that always. And, you know, if you're not familiar, what I actually do with the super chats and you know, a certain portion of the money I make from the channel, I just reinvest it and get more pedals to review. That way I can give you guys honest reviews. Like that MXR pedal, MXR bass amp, as soon as I get my hands on it, I'm going to do an honest review for you guys, because you already know how I go on YouTube. When somebody send you something or they paying for it, you feel inclined to give them a good review. But if you buy it, or, you know, you're able to be honest up front, like if a company sends me something, like ToneX sent me the Signature Bass Collection, it's a really good product. I was already loving the ToneX one, so, you know, and I fully disclosed that. But for the most part, I try to take that money and make sure that we get some honest reviews out there, so you guys really can save some cash. You know what I'm saying? Because who got time to buy 15 pedals at once and try them all out? Like, that's a lot of money, you know. But if you can watch, you know, somebody giving you an honest review, and more than a 10-minute review, you know what I'm saying, where they really diving into the pedal and any mistakes that the pedal, like especially these synth pedals. But yeah, you can get some nice filters out these pedals. Let's see what I got in here. Yep, that's the Enzo X. So, you know, even though the Enzo X is, like I said, $600, you're getting some really top-notch effects in there, along with a polyphonic synthesizer where you have like some unreal sounds you cannot get with any of these other pedals that are out. Like the Enzo X is its own thing. The Future Impact is its own thing. They are not the same as everybody else or each other. You know, the Future Impact definitely going to hit all your vintage bass synth needs, while being able to be played with key bass and Enzo X is going to get you all the modern bass synth sounds with some amazing polyphonic pads and solo sounds as well. And the C4 synth is going to get you some good bass synth sounds. Will not be as good as the Future Impact, but will get you some good sounds in there. I also, just while we on Source Audio, I love the Source Audio Atlas compressor. That's probably the best digital compressor out. You know what I'm saying? And most versatile. And you got an EQ on the joint, so that makes it extremely versatile at the end of your board. So all of this runs into the Source Audio Atlas compressor. And I actually have that running an 1176 limiter, running a 10-to-1 ratio parallel, so half wet, half dry signal. And then I have that running into a LA2A limiter on a tube compressor limiter. And I have that set to a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning it's not doing any compression, but I have it just running for saturation, literally all wet signal on that side, and that's literally one feeding into the other one. So 1176 into the LA2A, giving it that saturation, and then I have a setting where I have the EQ up on there as well. So these are little things that make it really versatile. Really, you can gig with just a good compressor pedal, whether it be the Source Audio Atlas or the Empress compressor. You can literally just take that and go crazy at a gig playing bass. Now, if you want to do all these other sounds, you're going to need this other pedal. You know what I'm saying? But, and then we got the ToneX. Let's not forget the ToneX on the pedal board. Now, the ToneX can be, I primarily, just like everybody else, use it for amp models. I don't use it for, and that's this little pedal here. I use that for all my tone models, And this week will be the release of the, my combination packs, where I take the JHS color box, which you see over here on the desk. It's like off to the side here. I'm actually talking to you guys through it. But we'll be that running into things like the Gensler Magellan preamp or the Ampeg SGT or the Gensman Shuttle 9, the Aguilar AG preamp. So it'd be, instead of just being the preamps by themselves, because I already have packs for those, which I'm going to redo all for the V2 stuff. They came out with a new version 2 of the ToneX pedals software. So I'm going to redo all my packs. Those of you that already have my packs already know them joints be official. You know what I'm saying? You be sounding good through them. I appreciate y'all that sent me clips or sent me, DMs about them. But, you're going to get basically 2 preamps in one tone model. So a color box running into a Gensler Magellan preamp, for example. And that alone, that combination by itself is what, $700 and something, $750 just about. This is what, $450 for the color box and $300 for the Gensler Magellan pre. And you're gonna get all that in one preset pack in a pedal that fits here, and it sounds exactly like it. Like, you will not be able to tell the difference between buying those pedals and getting this preset pack. So that's the key. You know what I'm saying? It's going to save you a lot of money just buying a ToneX 1 and getting these preset packs. Or you can get you a big ToneX. Get you a ToneX 1 bass edition. You'll actually get their new signature bass collection. And then you come over here, you'll get some of my signature bass presets as well. So, you can get all the vintage bass amps on there, and then you can get some more modern type stuff with the color box running into it as well over here. So check all that. We'll be doing lives about it this week, so no worries. Make sure you head over to the Patreon if you haven't. When we get off the live, don't get off right now. When we get off, head to the Patreon, check out preset packs on there if you want to buy one. I believe the MS-60B pack, I believe that's like MS-60B plus. That's probably like $20. It's not an expensive pack at all. So I try to keep them within reason, but these save you guys a lot of time and energy. But yeah, back to what the topic was. The Atlas compressor definitely has the hands down most versatile setup. Plus, you can run two different things through there. You don't have to run a stereo. You can have it set up for two different, units running through a mono through inputs 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Input 1 could be my bass. Input 2 could be like the synth bass stuff. And I can have all that set up separately, EQ'd and compressed differently. And that's very useful, if I wanted to use that setup. Or if I wanted to run a wet signal and a dry signal instead of running stereo, I could also do that there, and I can have them, I can mix it there, I can EQ it there, compress it there, and you can use compressors, the two compressors, you can push them enough to where you can get some different types of distortion out of them. So that's also an option, So, yeah, right now this kind of is my dream setup. I really do have everything I need at the moment, and these aren't even the most expensive pedals in the world. You don't need the most expensive pedals to be happy because most of the work's coming from you. Most of the sound's coming from you. You want things that sound good. I can tell you now, the MS-70 CDR plus modulations are and delays are as good as these other two. Like, so if you're on a budget, get you an MS-70 CDR plus, and that'll get you filters, modulations, delays, reverbs, and a few other little specialty stuff like a loop roll. Matter of fact, it's a loop roll feature on these multi-stomps, which is like a freeze function. It'll actually play the sound over and over again. So you can use the loop roll like a freeze option on these multi-stomp pedals. So check that out if you want that on there. And then you maybe try running I wonder how that would sound. I'm trying to think how you can simulate a shimmer reverb. I know you have a polyphonic octaver on the MS-60B plus. You got an HD Hall. You got a loop roll. And you also got an auto swell. So try different combinations of those effects. You know what I'm saying? And that should probably get you pretty close to the sound you're looking for, Chuck. But yeah, so let's get over here. You got a few specialty pedals, and these ones really help me out get into different territory, like the Key 9, different keyboard sounds. I like to use like the mallets and the vibes, the dynamo on here, the Mel 9. I love pretty much all the settings, all the string settings, both of the choir settings. And the flute setting on here is crazy too. Ravis sitar, I got plenty of settings on there that are usable for different things. The V256 vocoder is the best vocoder pedal ever. Most versatile. It also has a freeze function on it where you can hold the vocoder chord and play over it. Like you can stack harmonies with it, and it's just an amazing pedal. You can do things like live auto tune. They call it reflex tune on there. And you also have like you can do a voice changer on there. So that's a very versatile pedal, and it does have MIDI. You can also use a keyboard to play it and control it, or you can run keyboard sounds into it and change the vocoder by using different sounds. Like a flute running in there sounds different than a bass sound running in there. So, those help round out the, just Go and get to the keyboard sounds. Go and get to the orchestra sounds. Go and get to the ravish sitar and, vocoder. It just rounds out and makes it so I have the ability to do more. That's why I bought these as individual pedals. You see, these are stuff you want to buy as individual pedals, not really you need every distortion pedal that comes out or you need every new chorus that comes out. You don't need all of that. And to be honest, nobody's going to hear the difference. Like, I can hear the differences between choruses, but not enough to where the emulations on these different pedals wouldn't cover it in some way, shape, or form. I'm not hearing like such unique things out of these pedals where you need to have a million chorus, a million flangers, a million this or that, when in reality, you're not going to use all of that. Get you some multi-effects that got some good modulations in them, good delays and reverbs, because we are bassists. So, yes, we use reverb and stuff like that, but not the same way everybody else do on gigs. So, you don't got to get that specific with it. If I was you, I would focus on having a variety of them. More than anything, saves you money. And then making sure you spend the money on getting a variety of sounds, like actual sounds that are different to get you in different territories. Like this Mel 9 is going to allow me to do choir sounds, and this is going to allow me to do vocoder sounds. I mean, these pedals allow me to do all the variations of a bass sound that I would ever want, whether it be of a bass guitar sound, whether it be distortion, overdrive, fuzz, filters, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And this $120, 120 right here, 120. Same thing when I bought that, 120. These pedals I spent more on because they have very unique qualities. All of these. The boop, 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 boop. And I include the Enzo X and the Future Impact and C4 Synth. They all have something very unique about them versus buying one chorus over another. Just get you a plethora X1. It's going to get you all the TC electronic choruses. Or get you, something like a MS-70 CDR Plus. A lot of these companies have good emulations. Now, I will give y'all a little hack here. If you want something for recording that's really sweet, of course, if you get the if you get a ToneX one, the signature bass series, make sure you get this bass series pedals, the silver one. Make sure you get it. And, if you get that one, it comes with amplitude and SVX1 and SVX2, which is like all the Ampeg, classic Ampeg stuff or plugins for your like Logic and different recording software, Pro Tools, all that stuff. It comes with the pedal. Now, a good software that's going to have amazing shimmer effect and like shimmer reverb and great modulations and great delay, Guitar Rig. Get Guitar Rig. Like if you're recording and you want to have like all of this, but in the computer where you can control it in post, Guitar Rig. Guitar Rig, Guitar Rig, Guitar Rig. It is an amazing plugin. I love it, and I use it on literally every album. I use that and Amplitude a lot on my albums. Now I'll be using ToneX as well. What's going on over on Facebook? I appreciate y'all chiming in too, hanging out. But Guitar Rig has, and I did a whole series on Guitar Rig as well. So if you search my videos and put in Guitar Rig, you'll see a bunch of different videos where I'm going through some amazing sounds on there. And it has some great presets that are inspire you for different things. Trust and believe. Guitar Rig for the effects side of the game, like, modulations, delays, reverbs. What's going on? Usual suspects chiming in. I appreciate y'all showing up. And, before I forget, I also started a channel membership on here, so there's going to be some lives and stuff like this that I'm not gonna be doing just for well, I'm only gonna be doing for the members of the channel at a certain point. So if that's something you're interested in, sign up and you'll start seeing the members only videos and I'll be bringing in different people doing interviews and some stuff I can't give everything away for free. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely appreciate y'all that will and do support the Patreon as well. So thank all of you. Patreon, if you're a member of the Patreon, you will get access to that stuff as well. So sign up on the Patreon or sign up on the YouTube channel memberships. Both of them, either one, whichever one's more comfortable for you, But I definitely appreciate the support from the current Patreon members already. You guys are amazing. Yeah, so try to focus on buying more pedals that are actually unique sounds. The getting a bunch of the same pedal, I never understood that. Why do you need so many distortions or why do you need so many overdrives? Nobody else hears these huge differences but you. Like it just doesn't work that way. Like that's why I'm not. Look, I have a color box right here. I have all those preamps I named, and the amps and stuff too. The Aguilar AG, all the stuff, but it stay home. It stay home. You know why? Because I can get that same sound out that ToneX one, and it's the fits. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's not even the size of my hand. Why would I try to carry around individual preamps? Look at the size of these joints. So just having those two preamps right there, we take up. What's going on? Appreciate y'all chiming in. Oh, let me give you my listen. I don't know. Can y'all click links in the thing? Because I do got an Amazon affiliation, you know what I'm saying? If you want to buy it through the old affiliate link, you know what I'm saying? If you want to support before you buy that there, let me go and give you a link. Where my Amazon at? Gonna get you right. And you won't regret that CDR Plus either. I can tell you that now. It's a killer pedal. I don't recommend stuff. I'm not endorsed by these companies just yet. You know what I'm saying? So I say what I want to say. Let me see which one you want to check. I think you're on this one. Yeah, they even make me watch this. Hey, come on now. Let me see. That's actually the MS-70 CDR Plus. I don't know if you guys can click that link. Oh yeah, yeah. The request. If you anytime you guys want song requests that are things I'm not doing, it is 300. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's 300. But that's on the light side. That's what I would request for anybody. That if you had me come play a song, just in general, it's gonna cost about that. And it could get, you only got one song. That's how I go. But I do appreciate you. I'll be on the lookout for you. Send it, and I'll do what I can. What I'll do is, I'll do for that type of stuff. I'm gonna start doing a whole like live. Like get those requests, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna learn the song, and I'm gonna create an actual bass version of the song, and then go from there. That way you'll have it'll actually be an a bass arrangement and stuff like that. It won't just be me playing the bass line. That ain't really. That's I'm an artist, you know. Got to put some flair to it. You want to connect. So he wants. So basically, you want to use a pedal like a plug-in. So pretty much, you would need to, if you're using a audio interface, you pretty much will have to record your track, right? Then from that track, you need to send the out, connect the out of your audio interface to the pedal input. Then from the pedal output, connect it to an an input on your audio interface. And then from there, you want to go in the software, set up a channel for that input to be recorded from the pedal back into the software and print. You'd have to basically print essentially, you know. So pretty much you run it through there, you get it to sound the way you want it to sound, then you're gonna have to re-record that track by pressing record. And once you have that track set up, it'll do it automatically from the file from the track you already have playing there. You know, so that's one way of doing that. You know, a lot of guys do that with color boxes. So for instance, on my mixer, if I run out of, say, channel 12 line output of there, I run that into the input. I run out of output 3 of my mixer into the color box, and then out of the color box into input 8. So whatever I got going into input 8 is what's going to be recorded, and then I'll have that printed. So it'll just be there. So that's one way you can do that. That's the main way it gets done, actually. But yeah, feel free to ask questions, guys. You know, about this, and I definitely appreciate y'all following and chiming in and all that good stuff. And I'm serious, man. Y'all send them cash apps at 300. You know what I'm saying, with your song request, and you know, in the next week I'll actually do a whole thing about it. You know, create a bass arrangement, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna leave you hanging. You see, yeah, it's just record your, say you're recording a bass, right? You record your bass track first, just DI, straight record your bass track. And then you go back and you create another track, right? And send that output from that track back to your pedal through your audio interface, the output of your audio interface into the pedal, and then back into the input of your audio interface. Set the new track up to the input of where you have your pedal going back into. So if it's input 2 that you have your pedal running back into, that's what you set the new track that you're re-recording that part on to. Then you might have to line them up, you know, or you know, use low latency recording to make sure that it is the waveforms and stuff line up. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. You know, I know it's a little confusing, but everything take a little bit of practice, even recording, and excuse me. It took a lot of practice learning how to put pedal boards together. I spent a lot of money on stuff that I shouldn't have spent money on. You know what I'm saying? Like buying pedals and trying to figure it out, you know. So that's what kind of led me down this road of learning all this stuff and being able to do it. A lot of trial and error. You know, I've bought and sold a lot of pedals and all that other stuff, you know, traded in, all that good stuff. But, you know, in terms of, you know, space, like look at the size of these analog preamps compared, look how much real estate they would have taken up. You know, compared to having that on that's one of them things I was saying about portability, convenience, and flexibility. You know what I'm saying? All of that being, and quality, all of that being a factor in what I'm using and how I'm putting things together for, being able. I don't just put it together for the studio. I put it together so I can take it out the house when I need it. This whole thing is two different pedal boards, and they're just connected with this one cable. So, all together, if I was to take this whole board, I literally wouldn't have to plug in much. And so that's super convenient, but I have all my sounds at the same time. I'm not missing anything. I can still have the SGT sound, the Magellan sound, but it's in the ToneX. So, you know, you know, that's something else I really do factor in when I'm dealing with pedals and different things, like what actually what is going to take up space. Like these electroharmonic pedals, these are really big pedals, but there is no other alternative to these that will do everything that I needed to do. So they got to stay. You know? The vocoder pedal, I could get something like the Iron Lung, which is a minute and smaller version, but it won't have all the features and the presets. I need those presets. I can't be trying to fiddle faddle on stage. I'm just not. Like, I already got enough pedals and stuff and sounds I gotta get to. I need the presets to be on point for each pedal, and then I need a way to pretty much change all these different pedals to different presets at once. And that's where the MIDI part of the board comes in, and having the multi-effects scattered throughout gives me that capability versus, sometimes using all analog or things like that, or trying to be, a purist in certain ways with the effects, or however you may want to view it. Sometimes that can get in your way of having a flexible rig that is compact enough for you to really want to take it out the house. Like, trust and believe, it's if this was difficult to take out the house, it would stay here. Because I got a Zoom B6, which will do 6 effects at a time, and it's got foot switches on it. It's got a 2-hour looper. It's got all of that stuff in there. It's really more than 6 effects at a time. It's the 6 effects you can select, and you got the DI box and a global EQ. So it's really up to 8 effects at a time. Plus you get an effects loop with that as well. So it's a lot that you can do with a Zoom B6 with an XLR out. So you wouldn't even need to carry a separate DI box or anything. So I had to make this board essentially, it's not going to be as light, but I had to make it as convenient for me to carry as the Zoom B6. No problem. Thanks for chiming in, Chuck. I definitely appreciate that super chat you sent. Means the world to me. Feel free to chime in anytime, and feel free to stop by. I definitely appreciate that, Chuck. That means a lot, man. Everybody say they appreciate it, but I always appreciate when people show me, that means a lot. Thank you. So, yeah. And these 3-way loopers, you can get those on Amazon too. They $40 on Amazon. Let me pin that MS-70 CDR message up there. So if you wanna, get the MS-70 CDR plus, that's there. And let me pull up that T-tone looper for you guys. Because I've been using these loopers for years, and they are solid. They were $39.99 on Amazon. Not expensive at all, but They work very well, and if the reason I love them is because if I ever get in trouble, I can just bail out. You know what I'm saying? Like I can literally get rid of all of that. I can literally get rid of everything in this effects loop because everything runs through these in this one. So bam, took everything out. Over here, just these first five pedals. What is that? Five, yeah, first five pedals here are in that effects loop, and the rest of that is always on. But the rest of those are true bypass, except for the Zoom. The MS-70 CDR isn't true bypass; it's an analog buffer, um, but it does sound good. Like I will say, they did great improvements in getting that when the pedal was bypassed for your natural sound to come through nice, and clear and everything else. So before these older units, the MS-70, multi stomps and stuff, they were they would color your sound when they were bypassed, but you don't have that problem with the new units. They definitely did a wonderful job of upgrading the analog circuitry for that. So yeah, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the hype button. You know what I'm saying? It definitely helps me out. And, feel free if you have any more questions about how I set things up or how these effects are used, leave them in the comments and I'll definitely get to answering them. But yeah, don't be afraid to have these multi effects units around your board and have multiple of them. I got one, two. We're gonna count all the multi effects that even stuff like the MXR and the Hog 2, because those are multi. If they do more than one thing, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 multi effects units essentially on this pedal board. So that's mostly everything. And that's for a reason. That's for a reason. You want versatile setup? Add some multi effects to, sprinkle them throughout your pedal board, and it'll save you a lot of time, save you a lot of money, and it's going most importantly, it's going to save you a lot of space on your pedal board and allow you to really jam in a bunch of effects. Also, check out these little mini effects pedals, like that, like the ToneX one or the Spectracomp, by TC Electronics, the little miniature pedals or the deep freeze, pedals that size save you a lot of space. So, and even those, I would say be careful because if you buy a bunch of those and they aren't like preset, enabled pedals, then that means you have to always, the same as the Empress compressor issue, or I mean not issue, but same as the Empress compressor, you got to always check those every time you come in and set up your pedal board. Like when I'm coming back in to play today, I want to check it. But if I put it in the case, go to a gig, take it out the car, get there, put it out the cage, set it up, I got to look and check out those pedals that don't have presets. So presets are going to save you a ton of time. Plus, get some like the MIDI Captain, or I think the Morningstar makes a really nice MIDI controller, and get you something like the CME H2 MIDI Pro, and all those allow you pretty much to take those presets and now combine them into one big preset where when you press one pedal, you press one switch on your MIDI Captain and 8 pedals switch to whatever. And on things like the multi-stomps, you're talking about 6 effects, up to 6 effects at a time. So essentially, I can be changing 20, 30 effects at once just pressing one switch. That's a sweet deal. You know what I'm saying? Like compared to, and that means you can now bring some of your most complex sounds to the stage. You don't have to leave all your complexity and all the, this is going to be too hard to get to. You don't have to worry about that. because it's all done with the MIDI controllers and it's already set up. It's set up on in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Before you ever get to the gig, you have all this stuff set up, and then bam, when you get to the gig, I'm trying to tell you, especially if you're looping, it's gonna allow you to loop faster too, because you can get right to the sound. So, you know, my main thing with my setup here has been, you know, the versatility with the ease of use and making sure that everything works well together. What's going on, folks? Yes, those Boss the ES5, ES8, those are good as well. You know, any MIDI controller will work for that. You know what I'm saying? Like the MIDI Captain is just one I have. I'm probably going to upgrade to the Morning Star one where I can do a little bit more. I was looking at the, what is that, Illuminite ones as well. You know, I can't vouch for these companies because I haven't tried it. So I got to get them in my hand first before I can try them. But I do want to try the Morning Star one and Illuminite. I think it is Illuminite MIDI controllers. You know, this MIDI Captain's been doing me well though. You know, like I said, MIDI Captain got a nice feature where you can press the pedal. That's 6 commands, right? So to send out 6 commands to 6 preset changes or whatever messages at once when you press it. And when you release it, it'll send out another 6. Another 6 with totally different parameters. So you could just have that thing set up to do some ridiculous stuff, man. You know, so I and you get 16 pages. You get 16 pages of the 1, 2, what is this, 8 switches. So 16 times 8 pretty much different switches that you can use. You know, so you got, that's how many presets you can have. And then you just flipping through them, right? Wow, you know, change page, have them set up, like what I have mine set up, like one page is like bass sounds, like actual bass sounds, choruses or whatever, filters for my raw bass sound. Then the next page is set up for my synth sounds, like, you know, synth octave sounds with the Hog 2 and the different reverbs and delays, modulations, that type of stuff. Got other pages set up for each individual pedals. So like for example, the MS 70 CDR Plus or the Enzo X might have their own page in there where I choose 8 presets for those, you know, specific pedals. So I can, you know, manipulate each pedal without ever touching it as well. So I got it set up for a lot of different things, not just a bunch of preset changes at once. I have it set up for each individual pedal to be changed depending on what page I'm on the MIDI Captain. I know it's kind of confusing, but just understand that once you get into the MIDI, it will make your life significantly easier. I cannot stress that enough, how much easier your life will become once you start, you know, stop trying to have all the individual pedals with the nobody needs you to do that on stage. We need you to play. Nobody came to see you turn knobs. They came to hear you play and be glad that they did. The same way I'm glad you guys are here with me. You know, and I also want to encourage you guys today. Keep going. Keep practicing. Keep shedding. Keep learning. You know, it's not the physical. It's not the physical that's holding you back. Music is mostly up here. You're already strong enough, in most cases fast enough with your hands. You don't realize it. Like, I mean, you know, your hands are more than, like, if they work normal, they are more than likely strong enough and fast enough. They just don't, your brain isn't telling them what to do fast enough. So you got to train your mind and, you know, get some new knowledge in there. Don't be afraid of music theory. Don't be afraid of jazz theory. You know, I got some improvisation courses, bass technique, and music theory courses I'm working on. So y'all gonna have all that from me. Y'all gonna be one-stop shop. We're gonna get your sounds together. We're gonna get your playing together, and we're gonna get you up and rolling. I look forward to one of my biggest goals is to create as many killer musicians as possible, like some of the best in the world as possible before I leave this earth. So I've been working on that since my early 20s, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in my mid 30s now, and I already have students that are coming back and teaching other students now. They graduated from college and everything else. So it's always amazing and pretty cool to see other people's success, not just your own, you know what I'm saying? That somebody you can help along the way. And that's one of the main things I believe in. I don't really believe life is about you. It's about the people around you and, you know, about caring about other people. So that's something that I do. So I want you guys to understand that, you know, this is not just a watch me thing, you know what I'm saying? I do these different things, the reviews, the encouragement, all that stuff because I just like to help people. I believe this is something the way I help people, you know, through music, through teaching, through, you know, just the knowledge I have. You know, any way you can save somebody some money, save somebody some time, save somebody's life in some way, shape, or form, do it. Help them out. And guess what? It'll all come back to you, you know. I ain't never had to worry about what I'm putting out to help folks because what I get back is always far greater. So always remember that, you know, life ain't necessarily just about you. It's about the people around you. And, you know, one thing as you go along, people ain't gonna do you right all the time. But you'll be right. And you'll know you did right. And that's all you got sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes with some people, you be like, oh, I want to get them. But sometimes it just, you know, all right, I did what I was supposed to do. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want to encourage you. Stay a good person. Keep being the great person you are. Keep striving. Keep playing that bass, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep playing that bass. Because you ain't going to get no better not playing it. Huh? Huh? So yeah, keep shedding, you know. And don't always think it's the gear. It's more important than the gear is your mind, you. And use your life lessons to write your music, to portray your sound. You explore your emotions, you know, get yourself, you know, spend some time by yourself, learning yourself, so you can then understand how you feel about things, how you process things, emotions, different things, because music is all emotion. It's not all just the playing of the notes. It's all portraying some type of emotion. And if you want to be a next level musician, you got to get really good at portraying different emotions. You know, different genres and different tempos, different dynamic levels. All these portray emotion. So remember that. You know, that's the key. Your mental game and understanding emotion and how to portray it, and understanding the moment. You know, and get out and experience some stuff. You got to experience stuff to understand emotion. You can't experience emotion in the house by yourself. Well, you can, but not the full range of them. You need experiences, good things and bad things to happen to get you to where you want to go. Everybody want to be great, but nobody want to go through nothing to be great. And be great, you're going to go through something. You're going to go through something. So, you know, just stay encouraged, keep going. Don't let nobody discourage you. Don't let nobody tell you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do whatever you want to do. And you're going to do it well. You feel me? You ain't going to just do it. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it well. So this has been another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I'm so glad you guys took some time to hang out with me today. Make sure you go on all the social media platforms that you like and follow me at the Bass Negus, Negus. Check out my Patreon for all my presets. And if you want to support the channel, you can just do it for $1, $5 a month there. Or you can join the membership here on YouTube. And that is going to give you exclusive access to the videos I'm going to be doing. Some of these live streams ain't going to be up here. They're going to be for the members only. So make sure what's going on. All the usual suspects popping in. I appreciate y'all. Y'all always come through, you know, and show up. I appreciate y'all. You know, I'm starting to see a lot of the same names on comments and just hanging around the channel on different videos and stuff. So thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate that you guys appreciate what I do, because it's hard playing to yourself. It's hard, and ain't nobody watching, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate y'all. And other than that, I'd say, you want to send me something to Cash App or check out my music, allbasscreations.bandcamp, all that good stuff. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will be back. Let's see, today's Monday, so I'm going to be back later. I got to teach later. But I will be back at between 9 and 10 tomorrow morning as well. So make sure you come check me out. I might try to squeeze in one around 2 or 3, a live stream today. So, you'll never know until you subscribe, hit the notification button, all that good stuff. I do mostly live videos. I really stopped doing the other ones. I just prefer this platform. This makes me a little more comfortable and make sure that you guys get the maximum amount of content out of me. So I like the live streams a little more. Let me know, some different things that pedals that you guys want to see within reason, guys. 500 or less. 500 or less. Unless you're going to send me, well, even then, send a brother something. Help me out. Help me get there. We got different people that help me get there. I thank you guys. But all right, I'll holler at you guys. You have a great day. Stay encouraged. Make sure you pick up that bass today and go crazy on them. And don't let them tell you just a bassist. You're a musician. And you're going to show them everything you got.